everyone, and I am excited to be your host for this morning's Data Friday. Today, we are going to continue on our journey with Apache Spark, and we are going to work a little bit around the dataset and understanding a little bit better about the dataset. So, as you know, because we already talked about that, the data in Spark is stored in data frames, and underneath the data frame is the RDD. So the implementation of the data frame in Java is to be a dataset of row. Okay, so let's directly jump into a little bit of illustration here. It's going to make the thing a lot more easier. Okay. So let's so the data frame, as we already saw, the data frame is a powerful API where you can ingest the data, you can transform, and you can publish, share, make a multiple things with the data frame. Now, the implementation of the data frame in Java is a dataset of row. Okay, and this is a really important concept because you can have datasets of something else, and we are actually going to start this labs by having dataset of something else. So how does it look like? Okay, so just a little bit of a reminder on how things are. You've got your data frame. Sorry about that. You've got your data frame, okay, with the API, and then underneath you've got the RDD and a schema. And the schema is really the metadata of the RDD. Okay, so we talked about metadata in previous episodes. So that's metadata, and that's kind of, well, not kind of, it's data. Okay, so you're combining both the RDD and the schema, and you're getting a data frame. So let's look a little bit into those details through code. Okay, Zoom is getting on my nerves. I really have to do something with Zooms because it's slowly killing me. Every new version is worse than the previous one. Okay, so I can now share my screen. Yep. Okay. So this makes me just a reminder that you can join anytime on Friday morning live. Any episode of Data Friday, and you will find all the details on how to join at jgp.net/datafriday. Okay, jgp.net/datafriday. Okay, so here, Eclipse, finally. We are going to work on the chapter 3 of Sparks in Action. Okay, so Spark in Action, second edition, still there. And we are going to focus on this lab 300. So it's called Array to Dataset App, and let's run it first. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're going to be really impressed with what it's doing. Remember, we're still early in our journey there, so the applications are not that fundamentally exciting. Okay, so Spark is booting up. Come on, Sparky. Okay, it's coming. Okay. So you should see something very similar that you've been seen before. It's basically you see the content of a data frame or a data set with a column called value, and you see values like Jean, Lise, Pierre, and Loric. And you see the schema of that, which is basically the root and a value, which is a string, and that's of type string. Okay. So let's look at the code. So first the imports. Okay, so basic list and array manipulation things from Java, and then we'll need the dataset encoders and the Spark session. Okay, main. Okay, instantiated the app, and then I'm starting it. First thing, and you should get used to that now, is I'm creating a session. After that, I'm just creating a static array with my 4 values here. Okay, so here that's purely Java syntax, right? So I'm creating a string array of new string array, and my values are Jean, Lise, Pierre, and Loric. Then what I'm doing is I'm converting this array to a list. Okay, here my list of string, and this is called data, and I'm just using the static method as list of the arrays abstract class, utilities class to manipulate arrays in Java, and just converting the string list to there. Okay, all that is pure Java. You may already know all of that anyway. So the next step for us is to actually create a dataset of string. Okay, so we've seen DataFrame being dataset of rows, but you can imagine you can have a dataset of anything. And here in this situation, we are going to have a dataset of string. And what I'm telling is asking my session Spark to create a dataset from the data, which is a list here, and creating and using an encoder to the string, an encoder of type string. So why? Okay, remember, when I'm creating a data frame, it needs to have the data, the RDD part of it, and the schema. Okay, and the schema in this situation is very simple. It's just a type string. Okay, and then I can actually use all the dataset methods you already know, dataset.show, and my dataset.print schema. Okay, fairly enough. So if I run it again, which I won't, but you can see that this is really the values that you're getting, Jean, Lise, Pierre, and Loric, as a dataset of string. Okay, let's go a little further and try to convert this dataset into a data frame. Okay, so the data frame is a dataset of row. So let's look at this lab 310 and see what happens here. Okay, so if I look at my imports, exactly the same, except that now I've got a row as well, because I'm going to create a dataset of row. And so here's my app, array to dataset to data frame app. Okay, so you can imagine that it's going to be very similar to the other one. So same thing, main, instantiate the class, starting it, first thing, creating a session, same data coming in, okay, a static array with Jean, Lise, Pierre, and Loric, and converting to a list, and then next step is creating the same thing. It's creating my data sets. Okay, so let's run this to see where I am going to. Oops, sorry, that's a previous one. Let's run this one. Run as Java application. Dun, dun. Okay, yes, Spark's putting up. Okay, so what you see is the value is Jean, Lise, Pierre, and Loic into a dataset. The schema is root with a value. And when I'm converting it, it's exactly the same thing. Sorry. And but now it becomes, so if I go back to my code, you see that I've created my dataset here. It's show, it's print schema, okay? And now I can actually use a 2DF, okay, the to DataFrame method to convert that into a row. So why would I do that? Okay, is because a row, the dataset of row, the data frame has more interesting properties that I can actually use later. Okay, and my storage is also more efficient because I'm relying on the row storage, which is based on and I'm spacing out, so I'll put that in the comment. Let me look in the book, okay? Let me look in the storage part of the book to see how I actually find that, if I find it quickly enough. Wow, the index is awesome. Okay, tuk. Yeah. But let's see if I was smart enough to put it in chapter 3, right? That would make some sense, right? Okay, so chapter 3, we are at lab 300. Okay, dataset is a dataset of raw. Yep, so you can have any POJOs. Tungsten, yes. See, and I'm not lying. It's really there's a call out on tungsten. So tungsten is a storage. So when you are using a dataset of string here, you are using the Java storage, which we know, yeah, in the JVM it's okay, but it might not be performing as well as we want for big data. However, when you're looking at more performance storage, then the row implements tungsten, where data can be actually stored in a more efficient way. And there's a little bit of that on the book explained. Okay, so that's why it can be very interesting to convert it to a real data frame, which is implemented as a dataset of raw. Okay, so I hope this was not too confusing. This was a quick setup, a quick view of how you can actually store data in Spark. And we went through creating a dataset from a list, first from an array, then from a list, and a dataset of string, and then we are modifying this dataset of string to be a dataset of row, aka a data frame, and from there we have a more efficient storage. So yeah, and I also wanted to show you today that I've got my new IBM Champion swag. Really happy to be part of this group. Well, thank you for joining, and see you next week. And next week I have a special surprise I'm actually working on, and you will most certainly enjoy it. So thank you very much for joining. See you next week, and let's go back to work.